The doorbell rang, but no one was outside. Eli didn't move at first. He sat on the couch, the television washing the room in a dull, shifting blue, a half-empty glass resting on his knee. The house had settled into its nighttime rhythm, wood easing, pipes cooling, the faint hush of wind threading through the trees beyond the yard. It wasn't silence, exactly. It was a held breath. The bell rang again. A single, clean chime. Not urgent. Not impatient. Eli muted the TV. The quiet that followed felt thicker, as if the sound had been keeping something at a distance. "Did you order something?" Mara called from the hallway. "No," he said. "Not this late." She appeared a moment later, tying her hair back, expression already skeptical. "Then don't answer it." The bell rang again. Eli stood, the couch sighing behind him. Could be someone lost. At the end of this road? Mara folded her arms. "You don't get lost here." He didn't argue. He crossed toward the door, each step marked by a soft creak. The frosted glass pane reflected the room more than the outside, a pale blur of light and shadow. The porch light was on. It always was. He leaned, angling his view. Nothing. No silhouette. No motion. Just the empty porch and the edge of the gravel drive. "Anyone?" Mara asked. "No." The bell rang again. Eli flinched this time, not because it was louder, but because it felt closer, as if the sound had been struck from within the door instead of beyond it. Mara noticed it too. That wasn't normal. "No," he said quietly. "Check the camera." He grabbed his phone and opened the security feed. The porch appeared clear, still, empty. He scrubbed back a minute. The moment the bell rang, the image skipped. Not a glitch. Not distortion. Just a missing instant. He tried again. Another ring. Another precise gap. "It's cutting out," Eli said. "Or something's happening when it cuts," Mara replied. The bell rang. They watched the screen. A blink. Then stillness again. Eli turned the camera off. The black screen felt like relief. The house settled around them. Then the bell rang again. This time, the tone stretched, held a fraction too long before ending. A smooth, continuous note instead of a tap. Mara stepped closer to him without realizing it. "That's not wiring." "No." They stood facing the door, listening. First, there was nothing. Then Eli frowned. "Do you hear that?" "Hear what?" "Under it. Like another sound." Mara tilted her head. Slowly, her expression changed. "Yeah." Came from the door. Not the bell. The wood itself. A faint vibration, almost too low to register, like something resonating just beyond hearing. The bell rang again. The second tone followed it, just behind, like an echo that arrived too soon. Call. Response. Eli stepped back. "Okay," he said. "That's enough." "What are you going to do?" He didn't know. The bell rang again. Longer. The underlying hum deepened, pressing lightly against his chest. Eli's gaze drifted to the frosted glass. Something shifted. Not outside. In the reflection. He saw the living room behind him, the couch, the dark hallway, the edge of the kitchen light. And between them, where nothing should be, there was a shape. Faint. Slightly darker than the room. Easy to miss. But it was there. "Mara," he said. She followed his gaze. "What is that?" "I don't know." The shape didn't move. It didn't need to. It stood exactly where they stood, aligned with the door as if viewed from the other side. The bell rang again. The hum answered. The pressure in Eli's ears returned, subtle but insistent. The room felt tighter, the air heavier. "It's closer," Mara whispered. He looked again. She was right. Not closer in distance, closer in presence. It occupied more of the reflection now, obscuring the room behind it, as if it were learning how to exist there. The bell rang. The hum followed. For a moment, Eli thought he heard a pattern inside it. In. "Don't open it," Mara said, gripping his sleeve. "Whatever this is, don't." "I won't," he said, but the words felt distant. The bell rang again. There was no click this time, No trigger. Just the sound already happening. The hum came with it immediately, perfectly aligned. The shape in the glass sharpened, not into detail but into certainty. It was there, fully, mirroring. Eli felt something shift inside his chest, like a quiet alignment. The bell rang. His hand moved. Eli. He reached for the handle. It was colder than it should have been. Don't, Mara said, pulling at him. I just want to see. The bell rang. The hum answered. His fingers tightened. In the glass, the shape did the same. Everything held. Then he turned the handle. The door opened. Cold air slipped in, carrying damp earth and something faintly metallic. The porch was empty. No movement. No sound. Just the still night and the pale light. Do you see anyone? Mara asked. No. The bell rang. Eli froze. It hadn't come from the wall. It had come from behind him. From inside. He turned slowly. The button beside the door was still. But deeper in the house, the same tone echoed again, softer, as if it had traveled. Mara's grip tightened. It moved. The bell rang again. Further in, near the living room, Eli felt the cold at his back, the open doorway framing the empty dark. Inside, something had taken the sound with it. The bell rang again, closer to the hallway. Mara let go of his sleeve. Eli. He didn't answer. He was listening to the spaces between the rings. They were shortening, closing. The bell rang again. From the bedroom, a room they hadn't entered all night. The sound lingered there, then faded. Eli stepped back from the open door without thinking. The night outside remained unchanged. Behind him, the house felt different. Occupied. The bell rang again. From the hallway now. Clear. Immediate. Inside. Eli reached back and closed the front door. The latch clicked softly. For a moment there was silence. Then, from just beyond the wood, no more than inches from his face, the doorbell rang. Her kitchen chair was pulled out. She hadn't sat down. Mara noticed it the moment she stepped into the dim spill of the kitchen light. The chair at the head of the table, hers always tucked in neatly, stood a few inches back, angled just enough to suggest use. Not abandoned, not careless, intentional. She paused in the doorway, keys still in her hand, listening. The house was quiet in the way isolated houses are quiet, thick, padded silence, broken only by the faint hum of the refrigerator and the soft ticking of cooling pipes. No wind at the windows, no distant cars. The dark outside felt sealed. Jonah? She called. Her voice sounded wrong, too flat, as if the room had absorbed the edges of it. From the living room, Jonah answered, distracted. Yeah. Did you move the chair? A beat. Then, what chair? Mara stepped closer, her shoes whispering against the tile. The kitchen one. Mine. I've been on the couch, he said. Didn't even go in there. She looked again. It wasn't far out. Just enough that she might have left it without noticing. But she always pushed it in. Always. It was a small rule she kept, one of the few that made the house feel ordered. Maybe I forgot, she said. Probably. He didn't come to look. Mara set her keys down and pushed the chair in. It slid with a soft scrape, the sound stretching longer than it should have, as if the floor held it for a moment before letting go. She kept her hand on the backrest, waiting. Nothing. Later, they sat in the living room, the television flickering low. Shadows moved across the walls in slow, uneven rhythms. Outside, the night pressed close, featureless and deep. Jonah stretched along the couch. You're overthinking it. I didn't say I wasn't. You always push it in? Yes. Then maybe you didn't this time. Mara nodded, but her gaze drifted toward the kitchen doorway. From where she sat, she could see the edge of the table and the dark shapes beneath it. Everything looked still, too still. At 11:32, the chair scraped again. Faint, careful drag. Then silence. Mara's eyes opened. Beside her, Jonah slept, breathing slow and even. The red digits on the clock glowed. 11:32. She didn't move. She listened. Nothing followed. After a long time, she told herself it had been the house settling. Wood shifting, pipes cooling. The explanations people used when they didn't want to name anything else. She didn't sleep easily after that. In the morning, the chair was out again. Further this time, nearly a foot, turned slightly, as if angled toward the center of the room. Mara stopped in the doorway. "Jonah," she called. He appeared, rubbing his eyes. "What?" She pointed. He looked, then shrugged. "Okay. It was like this last night, and I pushed it in." "You sure?" "Yes." He stepped in, grabbed the chair, and shoved it back under the table. "There. Fixed." "That's not the point." He leaned against the counter, watching her. "Then what is?" Mara searched for it. The exact wrongness. The sense that something had happened in between moments without permission. "It's just off," she said. Jonah exhaled. "We're not used to being out here yet. Every sound feels bigger." "It's not the sound." But he had already moved on. That afternoon, Mara tried to prove it. She positioned the chair carefully, aligning each leg with the grout lines. She crouched to check the angle, then took a photo on her phone. When she stood, she stayed a moment longer, watching. Nothing moved. She left the room. Time passed slowly. She kept herself occupied. Laundry, emails, but her attention kept drifting back. Every few minutes, she glanced toward the kitchen, half expecting to catch motion. There was none. By evening, she felt almost embarrassed. She went back in, pulling up the photo. The chair was out. Not by much, but enough. And the angle had changed, turned slightly toward the doorway. Mara's breath caught. She checked the photo again. Perfectly straight. She hadn't heard anything. Not even a scrape. "That doesn't make sense," Jonah said. They stood side by side, looking at it. "It doesn't," Mara said. "So what? It just slides around when we're not looking?" "I didn't leave," she said. "No one came in." Jonah crouched, examining the legs. "Maybe the floor." "It rotated," she said quietly. He stopped. After a moment, he stood. "Okay, then we watch it." They sat at the table, facing the chair. Minutes passed. The refrigerator hummed. The clock ticked. The house held its breath. The chair didn't move. "See," Jonah said. Mara didn't answer. She was watching the window above the sink. The glass reflected the room, faint and slightly warped. For a moment, she thought she saw it shift. A small jerk. Not in front of her, in the reflection. She turned sharply. "Still. Did you see that?" she asked. "See what?" "In the window." Jonah glanced back. "It's just us." Mara looked again. Everything was exactly where it should be. That night, the sound came closer. Not a single scrape, but a pattern. A soft pull. A pause. Another pull. Controlled. Measured. Mara sat up. The bedroom door was open a crack. Beyond it, the hallway stretched into shadow. Another pull. Closer. She slid out of bed and stepped into the hall. The air felt heavier. The kitchen light was off, but moonlight traced the edges of things. The chair stood near the doorway. Not at the table. Faced the hall. Mara stopped. Then slowly the chair moved. One leg scraped forward. Soft. Careful. Her throat tightened. "Jonah," she whispered. No answer. The chair moved again. Another inch. It wasn't random. It was coming toward her. "Jonah," she said louder. He stirred behind her. "What?" "Come here." He joined her, squinting. "What's going on?" She pointed. The chair was still. Midway between positions. "Wrong." Jonah stepped forward, into the kitchen, and flicked the light. The brightness snapped everything into place. The chair sat at the table, perfectly aligned. Jonah looked back at her. "There. It's fine." Mara shook her head. "That's not where it was." "You're tired." She stared at the chair. It looked harmless again. Waiting. In the morning, it was in the hallway, halfway between the bedroom and the front door. Turned slightly, as if it had paused to decide where to go next. Jonah didn't speak at first. I didn't, he started. I know, Mara said. The house felt different now. Not quiet. Listening. Okay, Jonah said finally. That's not normal. No, Mara said. They didn't move it right away. That night, they pushed it back together. All the way in. Flush with the table. Exact. Jonah pressed it tight as if that mattered. They turned off the lights and went to bed. No one spoke. Sometime later, Mara woke. No sound had woken her. Just a shift. Subtle. Internal. She turned toward the door. Closed. She was certain they had left it open. A thin line of shadow cut beneath it. Mara. The voice came from the other side. Jonah's voice. Soft. Casual. Mara's hand moved to the shape beside her. Cold. Still. Mara, the voice said again. Can you come here? The chair scraped just outside the door. Close. Not in the kitchen. Right there. Something passed through the narrow line of shadow. For legs. A pause. Then a slow pull, like something settling into the seat. Mara's chest tightened. She looked at the figure beside her again. At the stillness. The wrong shape of it. Another scrape outside. Closer to the door. It's easier if you open it, Jonah's voice said. Mara didn't move. Understanding came quietly. The chair had never been the point. It had been learning. Weight, angles, distance. How to cross a room. A hallway. A threshold. The handle turned, just slightly. Testing. Mara closed her eyes. On the other side, the chair shifted again, quieter now, more precise. No hesitation. As if it had mapped the house completely. As if, given enough time, there would be nowhere it couldn't sit and wait.